Fairport. And driven by Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, it's Billified, the Bill Moran Podcast.
And welcome. Thanks for getting your pod on. Thank you for telling a friend. That's how we spread the word about the pirate ship. And the pirate ship, Danny.
Here we are.
Oh, it's growing.
Here we are.
It's a growing, my friend.
Yes, it is, Billy.
Yeah. If anybody goes to if you're in the greater Rochester area and you go to a Red Wings game, look at the TVs and look for us. We'll be on the TVs there. Did that earlier this week.
Yeah,
and,
Kevin takes up most of it.
No, it's not the
it's not
fucking logo.
Okay.
Look for that. And
Be
then,
like, hey, down in front.
I think I'm going to wait. I'm going to say this. I'm going to wait until tomorrow to talk about another thing that I cut because the guy that we're doing it with is going to be on tomorrow's show. Tomorrow's show will be dedicated to 420. So if you are a weed smoker or if you feel at any point that weed has been a benefit to you, and I would even ask you to speak on marijuana, not that you've used it, but there were medicinal purposes for your dad
Yes.
who was dealing with, life-altering illness.
Yes.
So
I have several stories about that, and also one for myself.
okay.
Dealing with migraines, and I'll never do it again. But it was a prescription, but
Yeah.
I'll get into that tomorrow.
But I mean, I think all that stuff, it's just so funny because as I was saying to somebody today, and we'll have some other people on, and I want to talk about kind of New York State and the laws, and well, maybe I'll do it now. New York State is sort of, I'm flabbergasted by New York State at times. I sit and scratch my head.
You're still flabbergasted?
Well,
I'm like Al Bundy. I'm resigned.
Well, I'm not resigned, and I don't get deep into politics and stuff. And I certainly have my thinking on things, and I'm a little more middle of the road than any right or left, I guess. But I'm watching this, and we had a guy on. I'm not sure if you were here the day the guy called in and talked about hitting a pothole on January 25th in his Tesla, and he had it repaired not by Tesla. Tesla was going to charge $1,000. Somebody else charged $800. He thought it was a pothole, and he could then have it taken care of by New York State.
And I saw that yesterday with Doug that
Right.
New York State won't take care of it from
So New
November
York State,
15th
you
to
got
April
it.
30th.
So what they actually say in the law, now in the letter that they wrote him, the letter says if it happens from November 16th until April 30th, they're not responsible. But they'll pay for repairs from May 1st till November 15th. Anything caused on the roadways during that time they take care of.
Huh.
Yeah, that it does say that. It's Section 58 of the highway law. I went and read it. And they don't say when they won't pay. They just tell you when they will pay. Because you got to keep it positive, folks. Well, hey, we're going to pay. But make sure you read the fine print.
Yeah, or make sure when you hit a pothole that you wait until after May 1st. Hey!
Well, that was...
I hit a pothole!
So
You're not lying if you say when.
And I guess in a way I go, okay.
If you don't say when.
We all drive these roads. We all see the bad of it. The good and the bad of it, let's put it that way.
Oh, yeah.
And if there's some bad things that happens, I don't know. Like New York, you'd be millions and millions of dollars in repairs. So I guess as lawmakers, they got to go, hey, we got to. So I sort of understand it. I mean, I do, but it feels a little shitty and shady. And I don't like the way it's listed in the law. I think they could say, hey, look, if you hit something in the winter months between, November, just like the bridge is closed or whatever, you can't park here during these months, we're not paying. Be a little more upfront about it. I think most people get caught by surprise. The other thing is, with 420 coming, the fact that marijuana possession was legalized in New York State. And we have, I believe, one dispensary, maybe two, right now at this moment as we're taping this podcast, that you could walk into and buy marijuana if you were over the age of 21. No medicinal license. So allegedly, there's going to be 2 more in operation by Saturday, the 20th.
Okay.
April 20th, 420.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah. So I think there's a little bit of a push.
On Record Store Day, Billy? I can't believe it.
So get high and listen to your records. I think I know that
It's
guy.
Record Store Day. Yeah, we both do. We worked for him, with him.
Yeah. So I think So, but here's the problem that I'm wondering about, and I would love to talk to someone who has legal knowledge. Senator Jeremy Cooney. Mm-hmm. Is that it? Or Cooney? Cooney. I am corresponding with him. He's head of like the council, or does a lot with marijuana in the state.
That's not surprising.
So I was trying to see if I could get him on. He's tied up in budget stuff.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
This is my day-to-day. Then the head of the council, the marijuana, I think it's like the chief of the marijuana council or whatever it is. He's also, I got the name of it wrong. This is how good I'm going.
The marijuana council.
But there's like a cannabis council. He's also the mayor of Homer, New York.
Okay.
And he's going to the Bruce Springsteen show tomorrow evening.
Billy.
So he can't come on. And so
is his name Otto?
No, his name's not Otto.
Mayor of Homer?
Yeah. So I'm trying to get him. But here's my question for the legal people. You have legalized something at the state level that is not legalized at the federal level. So what I think that means, but I don't know. And
Gotta pay cash.
Yes.
Got to pay cash.
Yes.
You have to pay cash. There's an ATM, I think, in every one of these
yes.
in every one of these places.
I don't know if you can use your debit card or not.
No, you cannot.
I've been told that some places are allowing the debit card to be used. But I don't know if the debit card is FDIC insured. I would assume it is.
Yes, it is.
So therefore, if it's federal, you shouldn't be allowed to use that when you're at a dispensary. I'm pretty sure. But again, I'm talking out my hiney here.
I think there is let's put it this way. Let's say you're right. There's a way to get around it because the credit card network, if they ring it up as a credit purchase and not a debit purchase, then you could get away with it. Okay. So I think that's the way around it because there's credit debit cards can be used through the credit card network. In fact, do you remember when they used to charge you for,
but not as a credit card, right? Or as a credit card?
As a credit card.
Because
that's the only way I think you could do it. Like in other words, you're pulling the money out of your
credit cards. You're pulling FDIC or no?
Credit cards are not FDIC.
Oh,
credit cards are a different network altogether.
Okay,
it's just but the idea of using a debit card like a credit card, is the case. In fact, I spent a week once in 2007 as a credit card merchandiser. It was awful.
What were you?
I got thrown out of 6 garages in Rochester. Oh my gosh, these people are so mean. Rochester is one of the meanest places in the world when it comes to people in garages. I don't know why. But anyway, these are all like, these aren't like car affiliates. These are like homemade garages. And
what?
Not homemade, but these are
like where you would bring your car to get repaired.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were trying to sell them.
They're not dealerships.
You were trying to sell them the swipe.
The swipe.
Yeah. The swipe.
Right.
Okay.
And so one thing they taught us then is that if you tell your customer to enter your PIN number, they will do it without thinking about it. That way they'll get charged for the debit price.
Yes, and you
won't get charged for it. However, if it's a credit transaction, you get charged. But then New York State, I think, did away with that. Now everything is pretty much there is no debit charge. It's just
maybe you can use a credit card at these places.
Possibly.
I don't know. I was under the impression that it was either cash
or debit.
Well, if it's a cash operation, so here was my thinking on this, and maybe I'm being stupid here. We had the ability for towns to turn down having marijuana shops be allowed to open up in their town or not. The town that we're in said yes. Towns like Gates said no, which is a neighboring town. Right.
We saw that coming.
Okay. Well, Gates said no. So what does that mean? What does that say? So that means that right now they can't benefit from the tax revenue that comes from the sale of marijuana. Well, I don't know about you, but I know people who run operations, businesses that deal in a lot of cash. I haven't seen their books, but if you're running cash, do you think you're given a proper tax? You're not if you've got a brain in your head. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're
one
not.
For you.
Well, here's the deal. Like, yes, you have to claim it, but if you're cash, there's no way to track it. No. There's a way to track it on others.
Oh,
there's
do
you see what I'm saying?
When I work for my uncle's restaurant,
yes,
that you have to count. You have to count all your total bills.
Yeah.
At the end of the night. And one of the managers told me, I just claimed 10%. And then my uncle goes, you idiot, you can't say that. You're supposed to claim all your tips. Now go back and ask the other waitresses what they claim. You know what I'm saying? Like, wink, wink, it's cash, right?
Right.
Nowadays, they track everything. Back
sure,
then,
they do. They track everything. But here, now, I don't know.
When it comes to cash, all bets are off.
Here's the other thing. I have no idea what the stipulations are in running the books at the marijuana. I'm sure New York State is all over this. So that's why I want to talk to someone who has made the laws, understands the laws. Because here's the thing. If I am a small town and I go, well, the tax revenue would be great, but do I want to have a business in my town that operates in just cash, which then is attractive to whom? Thieves, because there's cash in there.
Right.
Potentially.
That's why they put those signs up at drive-thrus, no more than $50 in cash kept at any time or whatever.
Yeah, so that's why I think to myself, I could see why towns would go, don't want it. Don't want it. Don't even care about the tax revenue because it's a cash operation. We don't know, potentially, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, who's claiming what and how much tax revenue we're actually going to be told is coming in, right?
And there's a
what they're going to claim
that it could be a magnet for.
Well, I think
problems.
these shops are really run well. I think
they are.
I think marijuana's doing a 180 in its perception. I think from
it's like gambling now.
Yeah, a little bit. From medicinal, I think that more people are experimenting and trying it and actually finding ways to deal with anxiety and other things that were often frowned upon with marijuana. So I don't as a herb, a medicine, I don't have a problem with it. I enjoy a gummy once in a while. I'm not going to deny that. The THC waters, the THC seltzers, they're nice. And they do help you and relax you. And they're probably better for you than drinking, right?
Yes.
There's less stress in your body. But in terms of a business and the legal side of it, I go, New York City seems to have kind of made this tough. Or did they? Did they know what was going to happen? Did they not kind of care? Did they figure, let everybody figure this out, and then we'll swoop in and make it all easy and smooth? Yeah. I don't know. But that's why I want to talk to someone who tried to do the laws, right? I wanted to say, what about these is it cash only? Are you sure that they're going to be able to claim all the taxes? I mean, as a lawmaker, you run on taxes. You should be upfront and I mean, telling us the truth, politician. And on the other side, is this why some towns said no? Because we don't want the cash operation in our town and the potential of more crime. Potential. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but it's a potential. So that's why I'd like to have somewhat of an intelligent conversation about it. We will talk to a guy who has a U.S. weed channel on Roku. We'll tell you more about that tomorrow. And if you are a person who maybe is new to edibles and things because of the legalization, you can call 585-206-8866. Let me put that number right up on the screen, 206-8866, and leave a message there, and we can call you back. Maybe we can get you on the podcast, or you can send us something via Facebook or whatever, or if you're a daily user, how it's helped your life. I don't know. Maybe it's changed people's lives for the better. So we'll get into all that tomorrow. That's the plan there.
I know that when my father was living with cancer, it was very helpful to him.
Yeah, I think for a lot of people. It relaxes you. You feel less pain, and you eat.
Yeah. The thing about marijuana, like our friend Tom George, may he rest in peace, our traffic guy, he always used to say, people ask him, hey, Tom, you going out and you having a couple cocktails? He goes, no, I'm going to smoke a joint. They go, really? He goes, well, man made alcohol, God made marijuana. Who do you trust? That's what he always used to say. And the thing about pharmaceuticals is that now drugs, not just illegal drugs, but legal drugs have now become the bad guys in a lot of ways, like prescription drugs, because of like opiates and dependency and everything else. And are they trying to kill us?
Right.
And so marijuana has become that thing where, okay, you know how it's harvested, you know how it's made. And if it's made legally and by the state, without fentanyl, meaning there's no additives, if it's made the right way, it can be trusted. But then there are reports that the state is even screwing that up. And so you got to be careful. But at the end of the day, it was considered a harmless alternative to drinking, hardcore drugs, and medication.
I know people who have been doing more of the THC seltzers and things, and they say to me, I'm not drinking as much. I feel better. I'm not as bloated from drinking things. I really enjoy drinking. I like it probably too much. And I really try to discipline myself. But I think with the other, you won't drink as much, and maybe it's better for you, and you're a little more relaxed. It just kind of rolls off your back. You're like, all right, it doesn't matter.
So when I was in Nashville, my wife and I went to this restaurant for lunch on a Saturday, and she goes, what do you want to drink? I go, just give me a seltzer, right? So I go to the bathroom, right? I'm kind of high strung. Something happened like on the walk over or whatever, or some place was closed. And I was like, oh, I wanted to go here. You know, it's closed. So I get a little hyped up. So I come back.
Shocking.
And I'm drinking this seltzer. And I don't notice anything. I'm just drinking it. I go, it's a green can. I'm like, huh. THC infused. Beth? She goes, oh, yeah, you need to relax, so I got you some of this seltzer I want you to try. Can I tell you, I was so calm the rest of the night.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. And you did you laugh at all?
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't giggling. I wasn't like Beavis and Butthead.
No.
But I mean, it was like, oh, cool. Yeah. I actually thought about buying a case.
Yes. Why not?
Because if you just want to chill out, I'm saying responsibly. I'm not saying get behind the wheel of a car.
No, I understand.
Hey, it's Friday night. I just want to relax.
Chill out.
Yeah.
Hang out with my old lady.
Right. Is it that or a glass of wine? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or you could take deep breaths.
Or you could eat a gummy and have a glass of wine and be fine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean,
if you want to do that, sure.
Yeah, I would. I say now, like the weed is grown. Some of it's so much stronger and all this stuff. But this will be the 420 show. It'll be a repeat tomorrow. No, it won't be. But
like Groundhog Day.
But I would like to know from politicians. I'd like to hear from people who actually are users how maybe it's helped their life. Maybe it's done you good. Maybe you have a horror story. Maybe you're going to say, this is all bullshit. I hate it, and I hate that it's legalized, and you're allowed to say that. I would like to talk to you. I'm open to all opinions and things. I feel like you get educated, right? It's just a different perspective on it. So feel free to call or text or hit us up on social media. And if you're free tomorrow evening when we normally tape the podcast, love to get you on as well. So we'll get into all that. We've been talking the past couple of days, OnlyFans. OnlyFans, we had a story Monday night about a guy who was following his cousin on OnlyFans. She found out, and she was not happy about it. And not only was he following, but he had paid for the upper tier stuff. And
the inner circle.
Yeah, and he said that it wasn't, he did it for a buddy who was married and didn't want to use his credit card.
Right.
Yeah, so that sort of thing. And they go to, she's like, I'll see him at family function stuff. So she blocked him and got him off the OnlyFans. But it is a weird thing. And I said, if I knew my cousin was there, that I would go on the OnlyFans just to see what was happening, and then I would recreate the poses that I would see if there were pictures of things, and I sent them to her of me doing it just because I thought it was funny. However, a lot of people are claiming they make a tremendous amount of money on OnlyFans. So, I mean, I thought I read somewhere that if Britney Spears did an OnlyFans page, they think she could make, no, I don't know how you project this, or I have no idea, $100 million. As an OnlyFans.
Well,
I have no idea. I don't even know what it is to get an OnlyFans subscription.
Yeah, well, you talked yesterday about Brooke Shields getting $2 million after her daughter was doing it. She got $1 million out of it.
No. That's I haven't brought that up. No, it was Denise Richards.
Denise Richards. Hey,
Denise Richards.
I don't know why I said Brooke Shields.
Denise Richards, who was married to Charlie Sheen, is on there. Dre De Matteo is on there, making a lot of money. But these are big name people, and guys want to get creepy. I don't know what you're doing to keep them coming back, to keep the subscription, to keep once you got a subscription, the idea then would be to get them to renew it or come back for a month.
Well, let me give you an idea. You remember Cameo?
Yes.
Okay, so Cameo's taken a dip because they've pretty much, everybody who's ever wanted to use Cameo has pretty much used Cameo for whomever. And so it's kind of like slid down, and it's not as popular as it once was, and the board's losing money. But at the time that it was at its height, and what Cameo is like basically I pay somebody like,
I can have The Rock wish you a happy birthday.
Wish me a happy birthday for X amount of dollars. You know the guy who played Kevin on The Office?
Yeah.
He made $2 million a year on that. Now, okay, this is Kevin, right? He was a side character, but a funny guy.
Right.
All right. Now, yeah, so I could see Britney Spears with a bunch of creeps making $100 million on OnlyFans.
I believe that was the projection. But so you hear these numbers. Denise Richards, $2 million. Her daughter was on there, and that's sort of what intrigued her allegedly to get into it. I only read the title of the article. And she was making like just under $1 million, like $876,000 a year. Not a bad living.
Before taxes.
So I said, I want to find somebody who maybe we don't know. And what are they making? So we're going to talk to somebody who's in the Midwest. She goes by the name of Gin Fit on Instagram, GINFIT. And she's agreed to talk to us. So we'll talk to her next over the phone and find out what's going on for her.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Is she making a lot of money? How's she doing it? Because it's a lot of work. Because anybody I see that's on there, you will know because you're on other platforms. They're trying to drive you to their OnlyFans. And the whole thing is an attention game. And there's a lot of competition. So what are you doing to stand out and be different? Right. And all that sort of stuff.
As our buddy JT, the late JT, said, unduplicatable content.
Exactly. Exactly. But it's all... it's pretty much everybody's got the same parts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. How are your boobs different?
Well, I don't know. But we'll talk to her and find out. We'll get into that next. But first.